One Piece chapter 1097, it is titled Ginny, another chapter where we get to see more about Kuma's flashback, and we got to see him and Ginny's relationship, more about his powers, more about how the Revolutionary Army formed, a lot of good stuff. And the more I look at Kuma in his flashback, the more I enjoy him as a character. Really happy about that, and I want to talk about this chapter. So if you guys enjoy regular anime content, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you guys never start a new video. That is my name is Potential Unleashed, and let's do our in-depth breakdown of chapter 1097. So 8 years have passed since we last seen Kuma and Ginny, and whenever Ivankov went and sailed on his own, Kuma, he is now a pastor and he is helping the elders of the Sorbet Kingdom. He does this once a week, where he goes and pushes out their pain, similar to what he did to Luffy at Thriller Bark. The elders, they want him to do this more than this Sunday, but Ginny, she is thoroughly against that, and I wasn't really sure why, if Kuma likes helping people, but that gets explained later in the chapter. Also, apparently Ginny, she is a catch. A lot of the people around the Sorbet Kingdom, at least those that are close in proximity, they try to shoot their shot at her. I'm not gonna lie, I can't blame the individuals to do that, because she looked kind of bad. She might be top 10 in the series. The elders, they want to repay Kuma for all of his hard work, but they can't because of the heavenly tribute that they have to send to the celestial dragons, especially now because of the new king. His name is King Bakori, and even if the elders, if they get sick, if they can't pay that tribute, then the king throws them in jail and he doesn't even give them any food. So more likely than not, these individuals are starving. So in order for nobody to get sick, and so that they can continue to work and continue to try their best to scrape up the little that they can to pay this tribute, Kuma always heals them. I mentioned earlier that Kuma only would take these pains from the elders once a week, and this is because the accumulated pain has to go somewhere, and he's the one that takes it all, because if he doesn't, then it would return to the individual. Kuma, being the kind-hearted person that he is, and because he has Buccaneer blood within him, he takes it on because he is strong and he's able to withstand more than the average person. And it really sucks, because seeing how Ginny is just so upset, not because of what Kuma's doing, but because she knows that it's harming him and she cares for him so much. So seeing somebody that she loves going through all this, it's just a lot for her. I like this scene a lot because it makes more sense to why Zoro had to take Lucy's fame at Thriller Bark. This is because, well, someone had to take it. Kuma, being a Revolutionary Army member and being someone affiliated with Dragon, he could have done it, but at the same time, it kind of would have been pooping on Zoro's resolve and his determination. This gives a little bit more of a perspective on that scene, why he didn't take the pain himself, why someone had to do it, because if not, it would just have to go back to Luffy. And this just gives Kuma, at least makes me look at him in a different light, because he knows everything that Zoro had to go through, because he had to endure the same thing himself in the past. Ginny, she wants to get married to Kuma. I believe he is 22, so this would make Ginny 26, and although that he wants to marry her, he is hesitant. This is because he thinks about what happened with his father and his mother. Because his father was a buccaneer, he ended up getting married to the wife and having Kuma, and that made both of them slaves, and the mom, she ended up dying, and just so much suffering, all because of his blood. You can't blame the dad. I'm not saying that that's his fault, but this is why Kuma is so hesitant in wanting to marry Ginny. It sucks that he can't marry somebody when he wants to. It's because he wants to protect her, which I thoroughly understand. I really do, but at the same time, I think Kuma is being a little bit overprotective. Ginny, she is a strong individual, a strong woman, and no matter if Kuma was a nobody, a somebody, she would be with him and want to be by his side no matter what. So him being a buccaneer, it really doesn't matter to her. So I do think that he is being a little bit overprotective, but I can understand why he is doing this. During the conversation about marriage, Kuma, he notices and reads about the freedom fighters, reads about Dragon, and is inspired by his work, and he wants to go out and do the same thing as him. A few years later, Kuma, he's going on a rampage in the town down because apparently different individuals are taking prisoners the elders that Kuma typically would heal. And this is because of the new rule from King Bakori. In essence, the king divided the Sorbet kingdom into two halves. The lower half is considered the poor and the sick, while the upper half is consisted of the rest of the kingdom. He believed in doing this that it would make them have to pay less of a tribute to the celestial dragons because of the dead weight that is no longer there with the individuals in the lower half. And to me, this really doesn't make much sense. I feel like the celestial dragons, being as greedy as they are, wanting everything, they would still try and squeeze out as much of a heavenly tribute that they can get. As a leader, I think it's important to find a solution that would benefit everyone in the kingdom. I think that him relying on this method is a little bit lazy, and it could cause different revolts to happen and people trying to go against the king, which is what Kuma and the others did. Kuma, Ginny, and the others, after going on a spree, they end up being thrown in jail, and after experiencing all of this, they realized that in order for them to free the Sorbet kingdom, they're going to have to take on the world government. And this is because, yes, if they free the Sorbet kingdom, they'll be free, but others, number one, would experience this, and number two, there could be potential for the world government to retaliate, and the Sorbet kingdom could experience this all again. So they have to go at the root of the problem and take down the world government. As they're in jail, Dragon and Ivankov, they appear because apparently Ivankov had been telling an informant Dragon that Kuma is somebody that the Revolutionary Army could use. So they freed Kuma, Ginny, and the others, and they liberated the Sorbet kingdom. And then after the events of the Hara and after the Great Pirate Era, this is where the Revolutionary Army formed. Even though the Revolutionary Army formed, they definitely were not as established as they are today. I mean, different individuals like Sabo, like Hak, like Koala, and the captains, they were not here yet. So back then they were just a small group, kind of like ragtag mercenaries, where they would go and try and liberate countries that had fighting spirits, and individuals that wanted to fight for the same cause as the revolutionaries, they were free to join. The reason why Dragon was so skilled with weapons is because he was a former member of the Navy, and I'm not surprised by this. He left because he did not sense a sense of justice within the Navy. Now, everybody within there, I'd say, has a sense of justice. It's just that it's not really unified. I mean, look at Garp and Sengoku. They're a little bit different. The admirals, they have their own sense of justice. I'd say that Dragon, the reason why he left is because he didn't understand what everybody wanted to do, how the Navy was so willing to serve under the Celestial Dragons, even though they are doing stuff that is wrong. Which makes Dragon such a great leader, because he's somebody that people want to follow. He's somebody that deep down wants to do what is right. And Kuma, Ivankov, and others are willing to follow a man like that because he definitely won't let them down. I believe they said that this was 14 years ago, so if my math is correct, Ginny would be about 37. There are different revolutionaries that have traveled and fighting the different injustices that are happening. Ginny and Kuma, they are captain. She is excited because this is the first time she gets to see Kuma and work with him in such a long time, but all of a sudden she gets captured. By who, we don't necessarily know. If I had to guess, it could be somebody from the Navy or the world government, which could potentially explain why Kuma turned into a cyborg. Maybe he had to do it in exchange for Ginny's life. I'm not really sure, but I will say that in flashbacks, the moms and I guess you could say the women in One Piece have not had the best luck of making it out alive, so it's not really looking that good for Ginny. Overall, I'd say this is a really solid chapter, seeing Kuma grow up, seeing him and Ginny's relationship form, seeing him steal his resolve and join the revolutionaries, and I cannot wait till we finally get to see how he was turned into a cyborg and his relationship with Vegapunk. But let me know how you guys feel about this chapter in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video from my Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. It's on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.